My name is Mariam Said and I am a hand-woven textile designer. I weave rugs and wall hangings for interior spaces and also fashion accessories like scarves and ties. And I'm fascinated with color and geometry and architecture. I learned weaving in Pakistan. So in my art school, we would get these rural artisans who would come and teach us. So I feel like I learned weaving in the very basic form. So I always make my structures on graph paper before moving on to the computer.
I'm Moira Nilsson. I'm a Swedish-based textile artist. My focus is with yarns, fibers, and different ways to make structures. I like to challenge the thought ways and also mix different techniques to find new possibilities of ways to construct the textile. I'm interested in the experience of depth in the textile and layering and how both the technique and the material can add on to that. I studied at HTK, connected to Gothenburg University, but at a small campus located out in a quite remote area in the west of Sweden. Bernat Klein wasn't known for me before, but I started to look into the website from the Bernat Klein Foundation and I realized how rich his practice were and how fun it would be to have an approach of studying someone else's work and let that be a sort of influence or put on another pair of glasses on your work. I also felt an interest to reflect more on how I use color and saw that as a great chance then to apply and try to focus more on that.
When you think of Bernat Klein, the first thing that comes in your mind is color. And I love color. I'm very passionate about color. And I thought this would be really interesting to sort of use Bernat's work as a springboard to develop my own ideas. So that is what really attracted me, and that's why I applied for the residency. The simplicity of the hand loom was something that I thought I would like to try for this residency. So I literally turned up with my hand loom, a few photos that I had taken on a trip to Pakistan a few years back. There was a project that was quite dear to my heart that I wanted to return to, but I never had the time. There's a village near Karachi which is called Hala, which is sort of like a craft town really. So I'd gone there, and there are these beautiful Sufi shrines over there with absolutely gorgeous Islamic geometric art. It was just so unreal as well. I mean, because I've lived in Karachi, I never noticed it before. It was only after moving here and going back that I could see it with fresh eyes, and I started taking these photographs of the geometric patterns and the colors, and I just loved the turquoise and the blues with the ochre and the yellow and the browns. So that was something that I always wanted to develop as a project. So I literally brought my photos, I brought some of my yarns and my loom to the residency here.
My practice are so influenced by how I explore my environments and surroundings. So knowing that the residency would be located at Cove Park in Scotland was a very important thing about the residency, that I would be able to work in this mind-blowing landscape with the high hills and the mountain and the view over the lake. I choose to travel here to the residency by train. It took me actually 2 days from Sweden, and it was a very slow travel. That really was a slow transition into the residency where I started to get the ideas looking out on the landscape and could really start to think how I wanted to use the time. So I think that the way of arriving here was a very good introduction to the place. And I started on my first week really having a look over what materials and tools I have brought with me, and being very open for trying every idea that come to my head and not reject anything, but like start and then have something to continue with and reflect on.
So Bernat Klein used to make these amazing, gorgeous paintings. And he was inspired by nature and he would paint these paintings. I cannot draw to save my life. And so I was like, I started making a collage, and then I was like, no, I just need to go and break down the colors. So I started making these color wraps and just breaking the color down so that I can use that onto my technical sampling on the loom. I think, when you're in the city, when you're working, there's so much of noise in your head. I think over here, it has just quietened down everything. And I feel like I've also been very slow in these 4 weeks. Like usually I make a lot of work, but over here, I just wanted the residency to take over. I just wanted to not put any pressure on myself, which is what Cove Park does. Like they don't expect you to have a physical outcome at the end, which I felt really worked for me, because then I just wanted to take things slowly and just analyze every little, if I have an idea, how do I want to develop it further? And then I would just keep on reflecting, going back. And I feel that was, that really helped me further develop my work.
With my fellow Mariam, that have been here during the whole time with me, I have been able to have very enriching discussions and explore the areas together with her. So taking almost daily walks, we could get influence together and showing each other a lot of inspiration that was here around us. And we had a walk down to the shore. I started to see all those materials that had ended up on the shore, and started to collect a lot of ropes, and realized how much colors and textures there was there to include in textile research. And so I started to take apart those ropes and discovered like a new direction that could still be about steady forms and structures and a very wide range of colors to work with. And I was very open to be influenced by the place. Also, something I thought of a lot was how to make the material justice, how to let those qualities that different materials have really come through and be shown. Taking apart these ropes and seeing the waviness in them, I wanted to keep that expression still in the way I use them. I think it made me think more about how you can highlight or hide the qualities, and I really want to let the materials be shown for the qualities they really have.
The thing that I valued the most was probably being with Moira. I loved being with her. I think collaboration is quite an essential part, tool for an artist's development. So we had a symposium, and I felt like it was perfectly timed because we were 3 weeks into our residency. We had a bit of idea what we wanted to do and how we wanted to take it further. There were a lot of textile designers and a lot of industry professionals that came over. And I think the studio visit was good for me in the sense that when I was walking through my design process, it started clearing up a lot of things in my head as well. When you talk about it, I think it's to talk about how you started and then how you went through. So I think that was quite helpful.
It was very meaningful for me to be able to open up the studio and let people, invite people to the process. It's not so often I get to share my ideas before they are maybe exhibited or are considered finished. So it was very good experience to be able to share this in the middle of process ideas and thoughts.
I will be going to Konstfack University this April for a couple of weeks, and I am really looking forward to working with the students, hearing about their research. The second day that I'm there, I will be giving a presentation about my own work. By going to Scandinavia, I will be taking Bernat's essence with me. I think I have learned so much about the artist, Bernat Klein. I think as a weaver, as a color enthusiast, I think I just feel like I'm starting to understand him a lot better. I'm, especially reading up about him, trying to replicate his velvet tweed, trying to understand his choices of colors and how he took inspiration from nature. So I think I've learned, I would have never learned this much had I just been read about his work, or even if I had seen one of his pieces in real life, which do not, the photographs do not do it justice at all. You have to see it in real life. You have to feel it in your hands. And it's something else, really. I mean, how does it work so well? That's the one thing that I can just not understand, really.
So after this residency, I think I will travel back to Sweden, and I will get to look at what I've done looking at the pieces in a new environment and with a bit of distance to it. I think I will very much go further with a lot of the works and take with me the explorations of colors and the textures and the use of materials that I got here, but maybe with new influences from new places. And I also have quite some materials I got here in Scotland that I would very much like to try how I can use them. And so it will definitely be a continuation, but in a new setting.
Alexa, why did you want to do the Bernat Klein Fellowship? What was the inspiration?
Well, you were the inspiration, Alison, when you came on a residency here back in 2023 with Fraser Taylor, a group residency, and you had the Bernat Klein Foundation book with you, which you donated to the library here, which was very kind. And we got chatting about the work that the foundation does and the role that you play in obviously raising awareness of Bernat Klein's work, but also the way that you support the textile industry in general. And we got talking about the possibility of residencies here. And then I remember you saying that Bernat Klein in particular, one of his kind of proudest achievements was his reputation in Scandinavian countries. And that gave us the idea for an international aspect to a programme.
I mean, I think it's really an exciting programme that we're trialling, and the idea of connecting Scotland to Scandinavia in the spirit of Klein's success, I think, is also really important as well. And I think we're very lucky to have the two inaugural fellows that we've gotten, Mariam and Moira, who've just seemed to have really loved the experience individually.
Yeah, and I think the symposium, the event, really showed the interest in Klein's work and that enthusiasm for a project like this. So there was such a wonderful, really warm reception to the project, which has been very encouraging as well.
I would say, having met him, he was much more interested in what was coming next than what he'd done already. So I think he would have actually really loved this whole idea of the fellows, the fellowships, bringing together Scotland, Scandinavia, bringing together people in a symposium set up with original objects as well. Just sharing that enthusiasm for his work.
And I really liked what you said on the day as well about Klein being a disruptor and that being a really important aspect of his work and his approach. We wanted this to be something that was where people were grappling with his work and challenging it and thinking about it in different ways. And And that felt in the spirit of his own ideas as well, not just falling into a particular way of doing things because that's how they were, just really challenging things.
I think really important point that he didn't want to follow the sort of norm in what he was doing. And I think the two fellows have really, they've both taken different aspects, perspectives on his work, and also kind of left field as well, which is really what we want.
The symposium was a fantastic opportunity to bring people together and broaden out the kind of the offer and the opportunity that the fellowships have created. And the other thing that was very nice to see as well was the workshop that we offered with Kate Owens, Pattern Disruptors, which was one of the most popular workshops on a Saturday we've ever organised here. And the response to that was really encouraging as well.
And again, the idea of disruption and intervention and difference, I think that his legacy really offers people to sort of look at it in a different way.